There's one thing the Hulu series The Good American Family never showed, one chapter that, if included, would have completely changed how we view Natalia Grace. After being adopted and then abandoned by the Barnetts, Natalia was adopted by the Mann's family, a devout Christian couple in Indiana who were themselves the proud parents of 7 adopted children. The Manns are shown in the series, and it presents them as a caring family that takes in Natalia and even helps with her legal challenges. In real life, they not only treated her as a child and aided in her legal battles, but even sent her back to school, enrolled her in therapy, and provided a nurturing home. This period of stability wasn't just a footnote in Natalia's story, it was transformative. Under the Mann's care, Natalia demonstrated the behavior patterns and developmental needs consistent with her claimed age. She thrived in an educational environment, formed age-appropriate relationships, and began to exhibit the emotional growth that had been stunted by years of chaos and uncertainty. While there's no evidence of any actual deleted scene that would have gotten this all across, it's a little hard to believe that the production never thought to include it in the series. If Hulu had included scenes showing Natalia thriving in a loving home, it would have dramatically challenged the Barnetts' narrative that she was dangerous, manipulative, or a fully grown adult. This would have also undermined the courtroom ambiguity and added real-world validation of Natalia's innocence, something many have rightly criticized the show for not providing. The Good American Family really does revel in ambiguity and shows itself to be enthralled by the question of, was she a child or a con artist? By showcasing her time with the Manns and the benefits that their care provided, at least in the short term, the show would have been far less ambiguous, essentially resolving the mystery. Instead, by cutting off the story before Natalia's life with the Manns really began, the show leaves viewers suspended in doubt, thereby preserving that thriller tone that the show's producers seem so enamored by. This also means that the audience is potentially misinformed if they haven't taken the time to watch the ID docuseries The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, which aired prior to Hulu's dramatization and which gives the viewer a far better idea of what happened to Natalia after the events of The Good American Family. Had this chapter with the Manns been shown in detail, it would have left viewers with far more anger toward the legal system, which failed to protect Natalia time and time again. Sympathy for her case would be stronger and less divided, while the series' genre would shift from a mystery drama to a character-focused tragedy about institutional betrayal. In my opinion, this would make the series far more compelling, as it would shine a light on an important judicial fumble and better separate itself from something like the movie Orphan, which it feels as though the creators intentionally draw reference towards.
Natalia was born in 1976. She's 33 years old.
The series' decision to lead with Christine Barnett's perspective for 4 full episodes also creates a fundamental imbalance in the narrative. Viewers are immersed in the Barnetts' version of events, their fears, their justifications, their interpretation of Natalia's behavior, long before they hear Natalia's own voice in any meaningful way. This structural choice inadvertently validates the very allegations that would later be called into question. There is one more thing that the show doesn't really explore, and I think it's important to mention because of the effect the show can have on public opinion regarding Natalia's case. First half of the series provides us with the Barnetts' point of view of what happened, specifically that of Christine. This POV is far more detailed than that of Natalia Grace, whose version of events is more abridged, providing quite a bit of fuel for those who don't believe Natalia's story. It seems like a miscarriage of justice to lead with the false portion of events for 4 whole episodes, leading to a twist that would be understandable for a fiction series, but which comes off as gross and manipulative on the part of Hulu and the show's producers and writers. Again, it makes sense from a dramatic standpoint, but this is a real person's life we're talking about, one that could be even more negatively affected by those 4 episodes. In fact, even the result of Natalia's time with the Mann's family is given short shrift. While the series does hint at issues with the Manns and their real intentions in adopting so many children and taking in Natalia, it doesn't give us the full story, seemingly because of time constraints, presumably because there was so much interest behind the scenes in getting the more thriller-esque first half on screen in lieu of what were seen as the less interesting elements. In real life, the Manns weren't the final family to adopt Natalia. That would be the DePauls, whom we see rescuing Natalia in that aforementioned docuseries, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Whether or not there was anything shady going on with the Manns is still up for debate and speculation, but it's hard to argue that the story shouldn't have gone a little deeper into that relationship. The series' focus on mystery and ambiguity, while dramatically effective, obscures the more important story about how institutions and individuals failed to protect protect a vulnerable child. By ending the narrative before Natalia's recovery and growth with subsequent families, the series leaves viewers with questions that had already been answered in real life. This approach also disservices viewers who turn to true crime content not just for entertainment, but for understanding of complex social issues. The complete Natalia Grace story offers valuable insights into adoption trauma, institutional failures, and the resilience of children in impossible circumstances. By focusing on sensational elements while omitting crucial context, Hulu missed an opportunity to create something both entertaining and genuinely educational. The consequences of Hulu's editorial choices extend beyond entertainment criticism. Natalia Grace remains a real person whose life has been subject to unprecedented public scrutiny. Every documentary, series, and news report about her case contributes to a public narrative that will follow her indefinitely. When that narrative prioritizes dramatic ambiguity over documented facts, such as her successful integration into caring families, it perpetuates doubt about her credibility and character. This has real-world implications for someone who has already endured extraordinary trauma and legal battles. The complete story of Natalia Grace, including her time with the Manns and DePaul families, offers a more complex but ultimately more hopeful narrative.
Get your act together, there will be no place for you and his family.
While this version might be less suitable for a horror-tinged psychological thriller, it's far more faithful to the human reality at the center of this extraordinary case. The choice between dramatic entertainment and compassionate truth-telling will continue to define how true crime content evolves. Natalia Grace's story serves as a crucial test case for whether the genre can mature beyond sensationalism to offer genuine insight into the complex realities of human experience. But what do you think about this story? Do you think that Good American Family did a good job with its depiction of the Natalia Grace saga? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching Screen Rant.